Hello, everyone. Hello. It's Decoding here with you, and I'm absolutely happy to be with you today for this live webinar. Whether you are a parent, whether you're a teacher, or a friend of Blossom Kids, I'm so grateful to have you here. For those who may not know me yet, I'm not just an educator, and I'm a fellow parent and an advocate for literacy, and someone who is genuinely passionate about helping children to fall in love with reading. A little bit about me. I have had the privilege of working with countless families, guiding them on the exciting journey of teaching their children to read. My goal is not just to impart knowledge, but to create an atmosphere where learning becomes a celebrity. So today, we are looking into the heart of what I love to do, helping you to navigate the world of early literacy. In the next hour or so, we will explore the strategies and share insights. More importantly, foster an environment where reading becomes a fun and adventure for your child. Okay, this is not just a presentation, it's a conversation. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to ask questions and share your own experiences where we are all here to learn about each other. So what can you expect today? We'll be diving into the ABCs of teaching your child to read. We'll be exploring the practical techniques and also, of course, having a bit of fun along the way. Before we jump in, I want to express my gratitude for your time and also your enthusiasm. Your presence here means a lot, and I'm genuinely excited about the learning journey we are about to embark on together. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's make this not just a webinar, but a shared experience. Feel free to comment, ask questions, and let's make this most out of our time together. Okay, before we dive into our first topic, I would love to hear where you are joining us from. Please, I want you to drop a quick comment below and let's build our visual community. Where are you joining from? Just drop a quick comment below. Let's hear you and hear where you are joining us from. Just a quick comment. Okay, now that's okay. Let it keep coming. Keep dropping your comments, okay? Okay, now that we are all settled, let's take a quick look at what is on the agenda for today's webinar. We are going to cover some key areas that I believe will truly empower you in teaching your child to read. We're going to be exploring the magic of early literacy. We're going to be sharing practical tips for reading sources and also interactive activities to try at home. And we're going to have a question and answer section, your time to shine. So each of the segments is designed to make our time together valuable and also actionable. So before we dive into the practical tips, I want to share a bit more about my journey and why this mission is so close to my heart. As a parent of 4 kids and also an educator, I have seen firsthand the incredible transformation that occurs when a child learns to read. When a child reads, I have actually seen the transformation. It's so incredible. The way you see a child read at the first time. When my own children took their first step into the world of reading, in fact, it sparked a passion in me. And also it made me to start helping other families who experience the same joy and success. So let me start with my first son. When he was in preschool, he was at 3 years, he wasn't able to read and even to write. It became a challenge. Then I wasn't a teacher then actually, but I was only a parent. But I picked interest. I got to pick interest to start teaching him how to write first of all, before we now proceed to how to read. From the first day I taught him writing, the boy could able to write. So I was getting so many things from the teachers that my son is this, that cannot write, cannot do this, that, right? But immediately the first day I taught him, the guy was able to write 1 to 10 on his own. I was like, wow, is this me? Can I do that? So that's also made me to start teaching him as a parent. Proceeded with teaching him how to read. I can tell you that before the boy clocked 4, he started reading and writing very well. So my friends were asking me, what's the magic? Why did you perform that? How did you do this? How did you do that and all that? And even it came to a point when my friends and my neighbors, they were bringing their children to me in my house for me to help them and teach them how to write and also how to read. Then I wasn't a teacher. So the thing now sparked a passion in me to start helping other families and also other families to be able to experience the same joy and success that I experienced. So, and that led me to go into education and start teaching. And since then, there is never a child or a class I handle that they don't see a transformation in that child. It's actually maybe the grace of God and the gift of God. So I really thank God for that. I'm not taking it for granted. It is actually the grace of God. So I believe that you being here in this webinar, you are taking a first step to start teaching your child to read. So stay tuned to the end of this webinar, because we're going to be towards the end of the webinar, we're going to be exploring the practical way in which you can be able to do that. You can be able to teach your child to read. So don't go, get your tea, get cup, get water, start taking and relax. It's going to be an explosive one. Okay, now let's talk about why early literacy matters. Learning to read. Learning how to read begins in children's ear. Most people think that children learn how to read through their eyes. No, but reading is actually learned through the ears. So parents lay a foundation for success in reading by talking to a child, by reading books to her, and also playing auditory games such as rhyming to that child. So the more books you read, and the bigger her vocabulary becomes. So a bigger vocabulary allows her to recognize lots of words while she reads. So if you have read books to your child about cheetah and maybe about anything that you always read to that child, it's more likely for her to read those words when her teacher give her homework assignment about that. Now, parents, teachers, you need to start early. Nurture your child's brain as it grows into reading. Your baby's brain is ready for exposure to literacy, as soon as that child is born. So he came into the world with a brain hardwired for communication. No aspect of communicating written words, print, and all that. So the critical period for brain development for communication is between birth and 6 years of age. So reading can come easily and it can come naturally for him. So if you introduce the right activities, that will stimulate specific neural system during this critical period. You simply start early to take your time to, to stimulate that right neural system, often with targeted literacy activities. There are some activities that even you can do to have fun with your child, including even a baby or introducing rich baby appropriate literacy activity. Just even when you are talking to that child, you are showing her illustrations, you are responding to her smile, you are bouncing around her room with her, you are bouncing around her room, all those things that they stimulate tremendous brain growth and initiate foundational reading connections you can lay down and also wire for reading system early. By injecting talk, by doing all those things to your child, you are trying to create that mindset of reading. So before we get into the real thing we are here for, I want to express my sincere gratitude for each of you joining us today. Your commitment to your child's education is truly inspiring. I am honored to be part of this shared mission. Okay? Thank you for being here, for your enthusiasm, and for the positive impact you are making in your child's life. Before we jump into our first topic, a quick note on any technical details. If you have questions during the webinar, feel free to drop them in the comments and we'll address them during the question and answer section. Now, without further ado, let's get started with the magic of early literacy. Yeah, let's get started immediately. All right, let's kick off our journey into the building block of language, the phonics fundamentals. We are diving head first into the magical world of sound and letters now. So get ready. Let's start with phonological awareness. I don't know whether you've heard the word phonological awareness. Phonological awareness is the foundation for reading. It is the foundation for reading. It lets people to recognize and also to work with the sound of spoken English, which can include picking out words that rhyme. It can help you to recognize, to work with sound of spoken English. Let's, for example, when you begin to pick out words that rhymes, let's take, for example, we have cat, heart, and so many of them. It rhyme together. So when you begin to count the number of syllables in a word, when you begin to notice sound repetitions, all those things are phonemic awareness, being aware of the individual sound in a word. And we call this phonemic awareness. Phonological awareness is different from phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness is being aware of the individual sounds in a word. Individual sounds in a word, you are aware of that. For example, when we say cats, we have individual sound in that word, cat. Cats. This is what we call, when you are aware of all this, we call them phonemic awareness. So preschools usually include language play, they include songs, they include rhymes and stories in their daily activities. Eventually kids start to come up with rhymes on their own. They also begin to break words apart into syllables and sing sound. All those things is what we call phonological awareness. Being aware is the foundation of reading. When you recognize and work with the sound of the spoken language. So most kids, they pick up phonological awareness naturally. But trouble with it can be a sign of a reading challenge. When children struggle with phonological awareness, because it is meant to be picked naturally. But those ones that struggle with that, they are the kids that have reading challenges. We call them dyslexia. Okay? So kids with dyslexia may need extra help in learning to recognize and work with word sounds. So they need extra hand, they need help. It doesn't come natural to them. So once kids can work with single sounds in words, they are ready for the next step in reading. They are ready for the next step in reading, and which is decoding. Decoding is a skill that involves pairing sounds with the letters that make them. Decoding typically develops in kindergarten. When your child is in preschool, decoding, sounds, pairing sounds with the letters that it makes. It stands in preschool. So a big part of learning to read is learning to sound out. Learning to sound out words that don't look familiar. This skill is called decoding. Okay? So to decode a word, you need to know which sound or sound each letter makes. Like how G sounds in goose and how it sounds in gel. Okay? So all those things is what we call decoding. How to take apart the sound in a word and blend them. For example, with jam, the first sound is J, the next sound is A, and the last sound is okay? Then slowly blend them in. We have words jam. So how a group of letters can work together to make a single sound? When we have sh in fish, kids learn this kind of letters pattern when they study phonics. Okay, so you see the importance of phonics, you see the importance of sounds. So we're going to be going deeper into that, picking the sounds one after the other. So children typically start learning how to decode when they are in kindergarten, when they're in preschool. Beginning readers starts with decoding one syllable words and work their way up to larger ones. So adults use decoding too as well. Think about the last time you came across the name of a person or a place you weren't familiar with. You had to sound it out, right? But after you encounter that new word enough times, your brain starts to recognize it at a glance. So this is true for kids and also for adults as well. Decoding is also for kids and also for adults. Decoding connects how words sounds and how those words are represented by letters. How those words sound and how those words are represented by letters. Let me explain again. Decoding connects how words sound. We have sound of words. We have sound in words. And how sound are represented by letters. All the sounds are represented by letters. Let's say, for example, letter A is its own sound. Letter A sounds R. So decoding connects how that word sounds and how those words are represented by their letters. So let me give you an example. When the letter C is followed by the vowel E, I, or Y, it usually makes a soft sound. Let me give you an example. Cell, city, Cypress. With other vowels, the letter C makes a hard sound, as in cap, cold, and court. But when it follows by E, I, Y, it makes the soft sound. That is the sound, okay? So why some words can be decoded? There are some words that cannot be decoded. Actually, decoding relies on the rules of phonics. Most words in English follow those rules, but some words don't follow the rules. For example, if kids try to sound out words off, they might pronounce it as off, or they might try to spell it as UV. So all those things, some children use the term tricky words. Some schools use the term tricky words or sight words to describe words that don't sound the way they are spelled. We use tricky words, we call them tricky words. So kids need to memorize those words so they can recognize them instantly, instead of trying to sound them out, they will just memorize it instantly. We call them tricky words. Okay, let's put these tips into action together. Grab a piece of paper and write down a decoding game or a vocabulary building activity you can try with your child. Share your idea in the comment section, and let's create a resource pool for everyone. Let's ideas keep coming in. Share your ideas, give me words and your own ideas and from what we have talked about. That is why fantastic. Okay, I can see some wonderful ideas pouring in. Keep sharing and let's inspire each other. Now let's move to letters and the sound. Letters and the sound. That is the main thing. Letters and the sounds are the basic building block for all phonics. Letters refers to the actual physical or written letters of the alphabet, also called graphemes. Sounds are the sound that these letters make. Okay, we also call them phonemes. So we have the letter and the sound that it makes. The letter is the physical, the written one. The letters of the alphabet, we call it graphemes. Why sounds are the sounds are the sound that those letters make. We also call them grapheme. Just like when you see a dog is the name, but it have a sound it makes. It makes what woof. Yes, so it have a name. It have a sound that it makes. So in English language, there are 26 letters in the alphabet, okay? But there are 44 sounds that make up the words in English language. The letters are 26, while the sounds are 44. So we use the 26 letters of the alphabet to write those 44 sounds. Some sounds are written with one letter. Let's say, for example, R in apple. It is written in one letter. So sounds are also written in two letters as well. Let's take, for example, sh in shop. That SH is written in two letters, but it makes one sound. Some sounds are also written in three letters. When we have I, like lights, we have three letters there, but making one sound. Some sounds are also written in four letters. When we have A in 8, that EIGH, it makes one sound, but it's written in four letters. So in this example, one sound is represented by more than one sound. Okay? So for example, the sound at the beginning of that shop, SH, is presented by two letters, the S and the H. So if we are to break the sound apart in the word shop, without having seen the word, we would get three sounds, okay? So we have words sh, or, shop. So if we are to break apart the word eight, you would only get two sound. You only get A and T. That is 8, okay? Because the letters, because the four letters EIGH only makes one sound. So we are getting two sounds in 8. So let's look at letter sound correspondence. Letter sounds correspondence refer to the ability to know what sound each letter and each combination of letters makes. For a child to learn to read the word cat, they need to know that the letter C represents k and the sound in a word, and the letter A represents a sound in the letter, and the letter T represents what? Sound. So this is what we call letter sound correspondence, being able to do it, to ability to know what sound each letter represents and how you can combine the letters to the sounds make. Okay, so they need to be able to sound out and blend these sounds together. Okay, so how does a sound, how sounds are said? How do you think sounds are said? How sounds are pronounced is important. when you teach your child how to pronounce the sound, it is very, very important, because this is because it can potentially be quite confusing if a child is not pronouncing those words correctly. So let's take cat again. If a child sound out ko, a, to, they have added two extra sound into the word, making it harder for that child to sound it out. So the proper way to sound out that word cat is k, a, t. When the child blend this together, it becomes cat. So sounding that word, it can potentially be quite confusing if you notice the child the proper way to pronounce them correctly. Therefore, they need they need to be taught to say the sound as crisply and as precisely as possible, so that they can be able to blend it so easily. Sound can be divided into voice and voiceless. We have voice sounds and we have voiceless. We also have a continuous sound. When we talk about voiceless sound, the voice box is not used to make the sound. That is when we talk about voiceless. But when we talk about the voice sound, the voice box is used to make the sound. So and also the continuous sound is both, it has both the voice, the mixture of both the voice and the voiceless. So the categories, they are not perfect, but they help us with our pronunciations, okay? Now, pay close attention, because I'm going to be pronouncing the sounds of the alphabet, of the letters we have. I'm going to start with the voiceless sound. So pay close attention as I pronounce them. We have, the first one is b, b. We have t, t. We have k, k. The letter K and the C, they also make the same k sound. We have h, h. Then k, k. We have w, w. And we have ch, ch. These are words, the voiceless sounds, okay? So the voiced sound now, we have word ah, ah, b, b, d, d, g, g, j. This is j, and this is a. You have e, and this is o. This is p, and o. These are words, the voiced sound. Then let's look at the continuous sound. That is where we have That is We have We have s. We have z. And we have y, oo, and we have sh. These are the consonants, the ones that have both the mixture of the voice and the voiceless sound. Take note of this, please. Phonics is a huge system, and a child is not going to learn all this information at once, okay? So a systematic and a clear progression in phonics teaching over a number of years is essential. Phonics is being taught in a systematic way. It is being taught in a progressive way. It is not something that you can just bring in once to that child. But it's always worth remembering that when we ask a child to learn to read, we are actually asking quite a lot of them. Okay? So we are still going to move forward to step on how you can teach that child to read. I like told you that is going to be done towards the end of this webinar. I'm going to show you the practical way, the step-by-step way in which you can do that. So stay tuned and let's continue. Okay, let's talk about blending and segmenting. Blending and segmenting, they are crucial phonics skills for reading. You know, knowing and understanding these terms I'm giving to you will help you, you know, as you support your child or your students in their reading journey. That is why I'm taking my time to give you information on this. So segmenting and blending, they are crucial phonics skills for reading. You know, we've talked about decoding, right? We've talked about phonemic awareness. That is when I told you that is the first step for reading before we enter decoding. Then we've talked about the letters and the sounds they make. We say that we have 26 letters and it makes 44 sounds. Now let's look at blending and segmenting. There are various ways to blend and segment that develops and supports reading skills. For example, being able to segment the word in a sentence and work out how many words are in that sentence is very important. You know, being able to blend and segment the syllables in a word is another step in blending and segmenting for reading. So before we dig into this blending and segmenting, when a letter is written like A, you need to read the sound the letter makes, as in the sound that the letter A makes in apple. You need to read it. So when a letter is written like A, read the letter name as in the name of the letter that you say when you recite the alphabet. So that's what leads us to what is segmenting and blending. So pay close attention. Blending and segmenting, they go hand in hand, okay? And when beginning readers usually learn the skills side by side, generally blending is a little easier than segmenting. To blend and segment, a learner has to be able to distinguish sounds in a word. For you to blend and segment, a learner has to be able to do what? To distinguish the sound in a word. So every word we speak is made up of different sounds. Every word we speak is made up of different sounds. So these sounds are blended together as we speak. The sounds are blended together as we speak. So in order to be able to read and spell, we need to be able to segment, or let me use another word, separate the sound in a word and then blend them together. So segmenting is a process of words, separating the sound in words. And blending is a process of words, merging the sound back together again. Is that simplified? Yes, I think it is well simplified. Let's go for the example. For some words, this is relatively easy to understand. Let me still use that word, cat. For other words, it's a bit harder as well. For example, house is a bit harder to blend, to segment, and to blend. So, for example, cats. To segment the word, you need to separate the sound into k, a, t, k, a, t. There are 3 sounds in this word, as well as what? 3 letters. So we've separated them, and that is what we call segmenting. Then to blend the word cat, you need to be able to do what? To push the sound together again, so that instead of being 3 separate sounds, they form a word cat. Okay? Now, another example is went. The word went has 4 sounds. We have O, E, N, T, and the 4 letters are W, E, N, T. The same as word sheep. A word like sheep has 3 sounds. You know, I've taught you that before. We have sh, the sh there sounds sh, e. Even though it has 4 letters, but it still has 3 sounds. So we segment it, we separate the sounds into 3. That is what we call segmenting, and we bring them back together again. That is what we call blending. We blend them together to name words sheep. Then the one house, a word house like house, still has 3 sounds. House. But it has how many letters? 5 letters. Okay? Then the same thing goes with chair. The word chair has 2 sounds, ch, a, and 5 letters, chair. So as you can see, it can be tricky. It's a tricky process, but there are 2 distinct stages of blending and segmenting. So because we are running short of time, I believe this blending and segmenting is clear to us now. We are not really still going to go deeper into that, but I have a course on the challenge, 30-day challenge on how you can teach your child to read. So in that course, everything is intact, everything is there. So if you are really interested in that particular course, in that particular challenge, you can DM me for that. That is where we go deeper into this. Okay? I'm so curious. In fact, I'm curious to know which of these activities caught your eye. Okay? Drop a comment and let me know which one you are excited to try with your child. Or you can share your own interactive literacy activities in the comment section. Whoa, I see so much enthusiasm. These activities truly makes learning an adventure. In fact, they do, okay? So drop your own activities, drop your suggestion in the comment section. Let's proceed. So let's look at understanding initial and final consonant blend. We have initial and final consonant blend. You know, the initial imagine the word blend itself. The bl, bl there at the beginning, smoothly blending together. Okay, that is why we have bl. So this is what we call an initial consonant blend. It's like a consonant duet, okay, where 2 consonants join forces at the start of a word, creating a similar sound. So when you see FL, fl in flower, or when you see DR in dragon, you are witnessing the magic of initial consonant blend, okay? So consonant blend is always in is putting 2 consonants together with force at the beginning of a word. So when you say, okay, let's talk about the final blend. Final blend, on the flip side, we have final consonant blend. You know, picture the word jump. The MP there at the end of a final consonant blend is like a consonant farewell, okay? So where the 2 consonants, you know, partner up to conclude a word. Think of ND in wind and ST in nest. So adding the extra flail to the end of a word, okay? So there are 2 consonants, two consonants at the end of a word. So when you understand this blend, it's like having a secret decoder for words. It is not only enhance your child's ability to read, but also boost their confidence in tackling these complex words. And guess what? I will be sending you exciting materials, including engaging examples, activities, and worksheets to practice this blend with your child. You know, to practice all those things, the step-by-step of what we are going to be doing with your child. So learning about initial and the final consonant blend is about to become, an adventure you can share together with your child. So let's dive into alternative and diagraphs, okay? Diagraph and alternatives is very important. Now, we are going to venture into this fascinating word of this diagraph, and also how we pair our pair of letters that come together to create a single sound. We'll be exploring the 18 diagraph sound and the alternatives. We'll be looking into that deeply in our challenge, 30 days challenge of teaching your child to read. Okay, but let me explain to you what digraph is. It's a two letters producing one sound. Digraph is two letters producing one sound. A digraph can be in form of, can be formed by two consonants. It can also be formed by two vowels. Okay, so the term digraph is comprised of a Greek word digraph, or twice plus something written. Okay, so digraphs are something are common in English, as so much as the beginning reader will encounter them in their earlier forays into literacy. Vowel consonant combination of the two vowels making a single sound occur in words. Let's take for example book, eat, bread. These are what vowel diagrams. We can see the o there, oo. We can see the eat, e. We can see the bread, e bread. So consonant diagrams is the combination of two consonants making a single sound. It occurs in words such as came, shoe, wish. That sh, that sh, that ng, they are words consonant digraph. There are two consonants coming together to make one sound. So there are so many ways of spelling the 44 sound in English language. One of the most difficult concepts that children need to understand is that one sound, that is the phoneme, can be spelled in various ways. Okay, it is important to teach this systematically and explicitly. It is very important. That is why we have Jollyphonics, we have the Fred's systematic way of teaching this. We have a explicit way of teaching child to read. So a teacher may introduce this alternative spelling in a gradual way. Yeah, it's not something we just push in. I'm going to be showing you how you introduce that gradually, but students will still need to be able to read and spell word with all these alternatives. So there are some easy way you can understand this brain in a classroom. There are worksheets, there are some things you can do. With the materials I will be sending your way as well, you can help your child to have a blast of exploring diagrams and also the alternatives. And it's time to make language come alive. Let's dive into the world of diagrams together, and let's move forward to the practical way in which you can teach your child to read. Okay,